Hey guys, welcome to my channel. I am filming this video on the eve of making it Instagram official and announcing to pretty much everyone that's not in this very small circle about my journey towards surrogacy. I wanted to give a couple updates tonight. You can actually see my computer right behind me over there. It is uploading my first video to YouTube as we speak. So I hope you guys are enjoying these videos. I hope that you are watching along and having fun with me as I journey towards becoming a surrogate this year. So the two big updates that I wanted to give are both huge ones. And honestly, they each deserve their own video, but I'm gonna put them together and do this together. So the first big update is that the contracts have been signed. So this was a big deal. Our contract was about 50 pages long and included tons of information. We actually had to retain a lawyer to help us with the contracts and in the actual official documenting and process of all of it. Also having it notarized. You know, my husband and I both had to initial every page, sign multiple times throughout the document. And it was heavy. The contract, all the way through this process, I have been really excited and hopeful, and reading through some of the different elements of the contract definitely added some levity and some weight to this process, and just the, you know, some of the things that we had to think through, and to be honest, things that we hadn't thought through, or things that we just didn't know were things that we should think through or needed to think through. Certain things I'll just go ahead and share with you, probably one of the heaviest ones, and the thing that truly stopped me in my tracks when I read it. And it essentially stated that if I were to get in a car accident or something would happen that would determine that I was brain dead or unable to function, if I had no life and the baby was at a viable stage, meaning 23 weeks, I believe, 23 weeks or beyond, then they would put me on life support until the baby was deliverable, you know, somewhere probably in the 33, 34, 35 week range, whenever the doctors determined that. And at that point, they would take me off of life support. And that was really one of those heavy moments where Alan and I, my husband, you know, had to like really pause for a minute. You know, it makes you pause and really think through the value of life and the sacredness of life, and truly, you know, what we came down to is I could walk outside and, you know, something could happen, right? And we had made this decision, and I very much feel led by the Lord through this process and this decision. And so, you know, ultimately we signed the contract. And let's be honest, if I were in a car accident and I was going to die, whether I was a surrogate or not, if I could be an organ donor, or if the baby, if I was doing surrogacy and the baby could be viable, like that is what I would want. I would want to be on life support no matter what. It was just having to like think through that scenario and kind of play it out of like, oh gosh, what if, was, you know, weighty. So we signed the contract. Everything is good there. All the legalities of, you know, when health insurance starts, and just, you know, all the different financial aspects of it, travel restrictions and things that I will, you know, communicate all along throughout this process, and, you know, all those things, they're all in the contract. What was funny about it was actually reading some of the stipulations as far as like health products and personal care products and home products. And I actually found myself like championing that because, you know, as somebody who has been on a journey towards cleaner, healthier, safer living in my home and in my personal life, it was really nice to see that in the contract and to see, you know, the agency, the IVF clinic really recognize that what we put on our body and what is in our homes has an impact on our bodies and on our system. So that was really cool to see. And I was really glad to see some of those restrictions and things that, you know, they asked me to be mindful of. So that was great. So we signed the contract. By the way, we had to get it notarized and I was stressing out thinking, how am I gonna find a notary? And then I learned about online notaries. Am I the last person? I mean, I realized that I'm like digressing a little bit, but did anyone else know about online notaries? We legitimately typed in our information, verified our ID, and you click like meet now and a little notary pops up on your screen and you go through the contract together, you do a little e-sign, and it was great. It was great. It was done. It was easy. It did not take very long at all. So that was awesome. Contract done. Done and signed, submitted. We submitted, the intended parents signed and submitted. So at that point, the contract then goes on to the IVF clinic. And once they have the signed contract, then we move on to what I have personally been waiting for, what I think most surrogates and intended parents are waiting for, and that is the cycle calendar. Cycle calendar can take anywhere from a couple of days to 2 weeks. In our particular situation, our IVF clinic takes about 2 weeks to get you the cycle calendar. And what that means is a cycle calendar tells you all the details of what is actually going to happen in the weeks leading up to your FUT, which is the frozen embryo transfer, the actual transfer of the embryo into me, the surrogate. So that is the big day. And so we got our calendar. I feel like I should do a whole video explaining what is in the cycle calendar, but just know kind of the basic outline is you will take birth control from these days to these days, and you'll stop birth control. You have 2 monitoring appointments before you have the transfer. One is to get a baseline, and then you start medication, which prepares your body for the transfer, and then they do like a check-in, and then you start the PIO shots. From there, you do that, and then you have your transfer. So I have my transfer date, and it is February 7th. That is a month away from the day that I am filming this video. Very excited about that. I will be traveling to the San Diego Fertility Clinic for my FUT, and that'll be happening in less than a month. So I'm really excited to be able to take you guys along with me on that journey of actually having the transfer. And then we pray and we cross our fingers that baby embryo sticks, and 10 days after that I am pregnant. So very exciting times. I will admit, I've always been hopeful and nervous throughout this process, but I wasn't quite sure that it was gonna come to fruition, and I am just over the moon that here we are, and it is actually happening. It is actually happening. Thank you guys. I just wanted to give you that update. Contract's done, FUT scheduled. We're moving and grooving, and I am on my way to helping this family bring their child earthside and starting their family. And that is just, it is the best way to be walking into 2023. So, okay, I will catch you guys in the next video. Do not forget to hit subscribe so that you get notified every time I upload a new video. Also, if you have any questions or comments, leave them down below. I want to know what your questions are. I would love to do some frequently asked questions videos. So if you've got them, I want to hear them. I want to know what you're thinking. There's no question too silly. I realize that surrogacy is not something that people often talk about. And so I want to help educate, and I want to help others out there. If you've been thinking about being a surrogate, you know, there are many different paths you can take to becoming a surrogate, with an agency, without an agency. And so I would love to just bring some light to this in whatever way that I can. So, okay, we'll see you in the next video. Bye.